Welcome to another edition of What Barrie's Talking About from Barrie 360. I'm Dan Blakely. On this week's program, the ongoing search for Autumn Shaganash, who disappeared without a trace 2 years ago in Barrie. We speak with her sister and get an update from police on their investigation. There's a hip-hop event coming to Midland, a first of its kind. We get the details. Oh, and a warning, there will be some language that some may find offensive. Barrie author Kimber Gorton tells us about her latest work, Autumn Anderson and the Quest for Keys, a novel about a young girl coming to terms with the loss of her grandmother in unexpected ways. Theatre by the Bay is up to something, a 10-day celebration of storytelling and stagecraft, and Mind to Muscle has a special hockey event coming up in support of the Barrie Food Bank. We get the conversation started after this. Autumn Shaganash has been on the Barrie Police missing list since June 2023. Not a word from her, not a trace of where she might be, just that she slipped away from a companion while walking to the waterfront for an air show. Autumn's sister, Lili Moore, sat down with Barrie 360's Ian McLennan and Barrie Police Corporate Communications lead Peter Leon to help us get to know Autumn and to update the investigation into her disappearance.
Lili, it's been 2 years plus since your sister Autumn disappeared. For the people listening, tell us a bit about Autumn, who she was. Let us get to know her.
Autumn is my younger sister. We grew up in a reservation called Constance Lake First Nation, about 3 hours northwest of Timmins. I was about 10 years old when we moved away, and we were a bit like back and forth to Hearst, Ontario, and between Hearst and Timmins, that's where a few of my family members live, so we were kind of back and forth. We also have a younger brother who is 25 years old now. We didn't grow up in a perfect home, but Autumn and my brother really looked up to me pretty much as a mom.
I was going to say she's a sibling, she's a daughter, she's a granddaughter. So there's a big circle there.
Yeah, she's really, we have a really close relationship with my grandma. My grandma did help my mom raise us as well, and we were really close. I feel we are the closest grandchildren rather than the rest of us, even though we are a pretty close family. But my grandma and Autumn were really close. When Autumn moved to Barrie with me, she would always call my grandma on the phone, and just almost every day, and that's how close we were in contact with her. And my grandma, she's getting old now, but she's in her 80s, and she's really healthy for her age. But ever since my sister went missing, my grandma's been really, really sad.
Something's been stolen from her.
Yeah. And I feel like my grandma is dying of sadness rather than, old age or...
Autumn's last known location was captured on a home video surveillance area of Ann Street near Sunnydale Park. But set us up for, you had a text from Autumn. Was it the last time you heard from her?
Yes. So she left our house June 9th at around 8 p.m. And we do have surveillance of her leaving my house. And then we have surveillance of her meeting with an individual, the person she was last with, on from the Petro gas station off of Burton and Frank's Way. And that's the last person she was with. And then she told me she would be back later that night. And she did keep in touch with me throughout until about 11 p.m. when I went to bed. And she told me that she was going to be home later that night. And then she later texted saying that she's going to be out for the night and be home in the morning, which she has done before, and she did come home. And so I was like, okay, good night, I love you. And in the morning, about 9:45, June 10th, she texted me, Lili, can you come pick me up? And I didn't answer right away until a couple minutes later. She didn't give me an address or anything. And by the time I responded, my message didn't deliver to her phone. So I just thought her phone might have died and she'll text me later in a few minutes. But then that time goes by and a couple hours goes by and I'm like, maybe she'll text me, later on today. Because there were times in the past where her phone has died, but she later on texted because she always kept in touch with family.
When would the family report Autumn missing?
It was Monday, June 12th.
So 2 days approximately.
Yes.
And she was with a man that she had known for a few weeks?
Yeah, about 2 weeks. She met him at the Barrie Native Friendship Center. Obviously, she didn't know, you don't know someone meeting them that soon.
That well. Now, from the police information, we did get that, they were seeing the area of Sunnydale Park walking towards the waterfront to see an air show. May have been carrying a ski, somebody reported.
Yeah, we did see that on surveillance on Shelley Lane. We found that footage, and that's all we have left of her last whereabouts. Right. Apparently the skis were left on the side of the road not far from Shelley Lane. I don't know where exactly, but apparently they were garbage or disposing them on the side of the road for garbage pickup somewhere.
But the man that she's with said, Peter, you can correct me on it too, that he turned around and she was walking a bit ahead of her, and when he turned around, she was gone.
Yes, that was once they reached Sunnydale Road. There was an ALS walk, so there were people around. But apparently the guy she was last with said that he stopped on the side of the road to look in the box of clothes or something. And he turned around and she was gone, walking towards downtown, where the Sunnydale Bridge is.
So just vanished into thin air. Have you communicated with him since her disappearance, since Autumn, your sister's disappearance?
Yes, we did see him a few times. He did communicate with us. He didn't refuse or walk away, or push us away. He did communicate with us, and he, told us what he knows, I guess.
And Peter, there have been countless searches by the Barrie Police Service of Sunnydale Park and surrounding area. North Bay has been mentioned, reported sighting there. I think even as far as Sarnia. Police obviously have left no stone uncovered, but how challenging is this for the police?
This has been a very lengthy investigation, and it is an active and ongoing investigation. We can never lose sight of that. With investigations that run for an extended period of time, and this one is just over 2 years now, often you will hear the word cold case. This is far from a cold case. We received information last summer with regards to a possible sighting in the North Bay area, and we immediately contacted North Bay Police. They were able to obtain the video, sent it to us, and our investigators were able to meet with Lili, and she was able to confirm that the video that was shared was not her sister. She could tell that it was not Autumn. Yes, in Sarnia, we've had information there. We've reached out to Sarnia Police as well as to the Toronto Police on occasion as well. Our investigators are prepared to go where they have to go, and if they can't get there as quick as is necessary, reach out to the police service of jurisdiction for assistance. And I think that should show people that in Ontario, policing is seamless. Police will call upon one another to provide the assistance that is immediately required. Because these cases of missing people, they're very, very important. They're treated very, very seriously, and it's something that we need to act upon very quickly. We don't want that sighting to disappear.
Yeah, and just because it isn't in the news every day doesn't mean the investigation has stopped and police aren't working on behalf of your family and Autumn. But I'm wondering, Peter, too, in terms of, human trafficking has been speculated. I can't imagine what, goes through Lili's mind and her family, what might have, where Autumn might be. As a police service, is it just all angles covered, or?
We are trying to, as you said, leave no stone unturned. And I think that's the most important thing. Ever since the outset of this investigation, we have had a family liaison officer assigned to the investigation. And I know that Sergeant Carlton from the Barrie Police Major Crime Unit is in constant communication with Lili, who then provides that information back to her family. So anything that we hear, we provide those details to, so that if Lili or a family member is driving down the street, they're not caught off guard if they happen to hear it on a news report or see it on the evening news. It's very important that we maintain that constant communication with them so that they know where we are with regards to the investigation.
And Autumn's picture has been on, local newscasts, on social media, billboards, bus wraps as well. How do you get through each day when you also have family to care for?
Well, I work a full-time job, and I have little girls that, I have to provide for. I work really hard every day, and just to support myself and my girls. And, I love my job, and it keeps me sane. It just keeps my mind off a lot of things, but I do think about my sister every day, and
it's just obviously by your reaction and your grandmother too. That I believe it was you that told me that, and you've said that Autumn would call your grandmother almost every day.
Yeah, she would keep in touch with my grandma all the time, And when she was out hanging out with a friend or gone for the night or, anything, when she would not be home, she's always on social media, always on her phone. She didn't leave us to go start a new life or anything like that. She would not leave us. She would not leave her nieces. So, if she's alive, someone is holding her captive, and, she can't escape. She's a small girl. She's very vulnerable. She's timid, and she gets scared easily, and she has really bad asthma. So one of my thoughts was that, she really depended on that asthma inhaler every day. Every time we would have laughing attacks or anything like that, she would need that inhaler. That's how bad her asthma was. So
your family also hired a private investigator around January 2024. Is that person still involved in assisting?
We had two.
Okay.
So we currently have one. The previous one just didn't really work out. But the one we're working with now, we still keep in touch with them.
And Peter, maybe we'll close by just reminding the public how they can provide information, and that there is a $50,000 reward for information about Autumn's whereabouts.
That's correct. The reward was put in place back on February 8th, 2024. It was approved by the Barrie Police Services Board in the amount of $50,000. And we're hopeful that that reward may bring the right person with the right information forward to obviously bring resolution to what has been a very long 2+ year period for not only the family but for the investigators assigned. We strongly encourage the public to make use of programs such as Crime Stoppers, where you can remain totally anonymous and provide information that way. Or you can contact the Barrie Police Major Crime Unit at 705-725-7025, extension 2160. That information will be followed up on forthwith immediately, and it's something that we believe out there that somebody in our community has the piece of the puzzle that investigators are looking for that will bring resolution to this very, very difficult time for Lili and her family.
Anyone with information on Autumn's disappearance is urged to contact the Barrie Police Major Crime Unit. This is what Barrie's talking about from Barrie 360. I'm Dan Blakely, joined once again by our friend Tanisha Thomas, also known as Ty the Poet, also known as Barrie's Poet Laureate on one hand, on the other hand, a promoter of all things poetic and musical. How are you?
I'm good. I'm grateful to be back.
And you're not here in terms of the Poet Laureate aspect of what you do. We've got some other things going on up in Midland.
Yes. So on July 26th, I will be in Midland hosting Rap is Poetry. Today I'm joined by another artist who is featured in the show, Toblerone.
All
Hi,
right.
how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you? Welcome
Very well,
to the
thank you.
program. All right, so tell us about the show.
Yes, so this show is Rap is Poetry. So in 2022, I did my first one here in Barrie at the 5 Points Theatre. This was prior to me being crowned Poet Laureate. I got the Tourism Spark Grant to do poetic concerts throughout Simcoe County. So my first one was in Barrie, 2022, and that one sold out. We then went to Collingwood, and next we're hitting up Midland. I plan to bring this show across Simcoe County, so we're just kind of checking off the boxes as we go, and Midland's next.
So is this first in a series for this summer, or is it an annual kind of thing?
I'm trying to hit up different towns. So this will be the first time that I'm in Midland, and this will be my first RIP for 2025 as well.
And your involvement in all of this?
Yes.
How so?
Ty one day messaged me and asked me if I'd like to be a part of it.
Twisted your arm a little bit?
Not at all. It was a great opportunity, and I'd be dumb not to take it.
And what's your specialty, I guess?
I do hip hop.
You going to give us a sample?
If you pay me.
I'm giving you some free airtime here, so I think that's payment enough, don't you?
I guess so. Should I do like a verse from Laugh Now, Cry Later?
Sure.
Yeah?
Go for it.
Alrighty. Laugh now, cry later. I'd be in the mix. If it was done, it's done. Now I gotta live with it. Party like Motley Crue. I don't even give a shit. I'll get what I need done, even if it takes a bit. I planted my seeds, now I'm beginning to see them grow. I see a shot to improve, I quickly let it go. I'm looking for a bad bitch, not another hoe. Something like a graduate that's still down the roll. Now I'm in my zone, now I'm getting all this money. My money. Should've never let him get any from me.
All right. See, that wasn't so hard. How long does it take you to put something together?
It depends on the day. So when I wrote that song, I was actually at the bar till like 3 a.m. drinking. I woke up at the time I was supposed to start my work shift. Called my boss to let her know I was on the way. And she's like, nah, just stay home. It's okay. So as soon as I did that, I started writing that song. As soon as I was supposed to finish work is when I finished recording the rough demo. And then I went into work the next day and almost lost my job over that. So luckily I didn't. And that song was the first one I released. And I think it's a pretty smashing hit. So it all worked out.
Good thing you didn't lose your job, but nice to know you might have something to fall back on.
Exactly. You know, I think it was God's plan.
Maybe. So who else is going to be performing here?
Yeah, so Rap is Poetry has not only rappers, MCs, and poets, but we also have dancers this time. So we have 2 members of the Boomboxers dance crew, which is here in Barrie. They teach hip hop. They're actually the runner-up for the Mayor's Innovation Award last year as well. We have Soundwave, which is a local Midland hip hop group that they've worked with Toblerone.
Hip hop, they do similar like pop, rock, indie, alternative. They make great music nonetheless. Their genre's a little wide.
So you're appealing to people who are already into all of this, but I'm guessing you're trying to draw some new people in to experience and they get to like it.
Yes, for sure. So Midland, I'm not sure if Midland offers like this kind of thing often. Actually, I was at the Butter Tart Festival and we got to talk to the mayor of Midland, and he said that this might actually be the first official hip hop event at the MCC. So it's kind of pretty big. So we're gonna have rappers, we're gonna have poets, but we're also gonna be giving tidbits of history and Canadian like history and information regarding hip hop culture and poetry as well.
So you're breaking new ground here, which is great. And it's great to be a part of that, isn't it?
It is. I feel honored.
How long have you been doing this?
So I've been making music for 10 years, but this is my first year being public.
What do you mean by being public?
So I released my debut single, Laugh Now, Cry Later, January 9th, 2025. But before that, I didn't put out any music or nothing. I just make it, collect it, make it, collect it.
Right.
And this year is my push.
So you're getting out there.
Yep. And I just recently dropped a project called Volatile. It's now available on all streaming platforms. And if you want to look it up, just search up Toblerone with the A, Toblarone, Volatile.
Ty, what else can you tell us about what's happening in Midland, when, and tickets, et cetera, et cetera?
Yes. So what I love about RIP is that we loved supporting emerging artists, right? So all the artists in the show are from Simcoe County. We have Priscilla, she's from Innisfil. We have Lindsay, she's a school teacher from Toronto that recently moved here. We have Amy Ray and Dave Walker, who are both Midland locals. We have Toblerone. We have God One as actually our beatboxer, rapper, and dancer as well. So you're going to definitely be entertained. We have myself, we have Lifted, who will be co-hosting with me. So much amazing local talent will be in this show. And this show is sponsored by the Rotary Club of Midland, which is amazing as well. I wouldn't have been able to do it without their help. So shout out to the Rotary Club. And MCC is partnering with me on this event. Tickets are $20 for 1 and 2 for $30, July 26th from 3 to 5 p.m. You can holler at me, Ty the Poetess, through email or DM for tickets. It's also located on the MCC website, family friendly. It'll be educational as well, entertaining. And it'll be all about arts and culture and supporting Simcoe County and our local artists.
And it's nice that you've got some actual people from Midland who are taking part in it, right?
Yes.
The website, again, if people are interested in more information?
Yep, so you guys can go to the Midland Cultural Center website. Tickets are listed there, or you can also email me. That's Ty the Poetess, TYTHEPOETESS @outlook.com.
All right, thanks for dropping by.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
The Barrie Theatre Festival is back, 10 days, starting August 8th, 32 performances, something for everyone. Managing producer Glenn Colson gives our Ian McLennan a behind-the-curtain preview.
Reimagined Barrie Theatre Festival. What does reimagine mean?
Well, we had a great foundation of the Simcoe County Theatre Festival that was on previously, and we've kind of turned that, from that great foundation into a different type of experience so that there's a little bit more for everybody, and we reach Canada-wide shows as well as Central Ontario shows, and now theatre for young audiences shows. So all ages, something for everybody.
Yeah, you've got really 3 components here, and maybe you could, how did that come about, or, what was the decision-making process?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is we looked at how to, reinvent ourselves a little bit. We're going to enter our 25th year in 2026. Very exciting. So that comes with some change, of course, but the Theatre for Young Audiences was a big twist for us. We had, Larissa Mayer and Nick Bailey, they always thought it was really important, our founders, to make sure that they're helping youth and have something for kids. And so that's why we wanted to bring that back. So it became a one part of the series, the Theatre for Young Audiences. We have 2 amazing performances for that. We have the Central Ontario series, which is, of course, promoting local artists and playwrights, and then, of course, open to Canada-wide. And we have 2 amazing shows that are coming up that are Toronto Fringe Festival winners. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, coming up from, you said Stratford,
yeah,
Shaw, Broadway, etc.?
Well, there's a lot of the performers and the creators have had work with these different companies. Yeah. And so it's great to see, and we get to bring them up here in Barrie.
And but newly reimagined, were you forced into a change, or was it because of the anniversary, or just?
Well, yeah, just the excitement of the anniversary. No, we're a nonprofit, theater company, and obviously since the pandemic, a lot of theater companies went through a lot of change. So we were no different. We had to do some reinventing, kind of catching up. Feel like we're catching up. We needed to take a bit of a pause, reassess, and make sure we build a sustainable theater company. And we have an amazing brand new board, new staff, just to help refresh the whole thing and make sure that Theatre by the Bay continues for another 25 years. But
I think it was your chair of the board described this festival as called a cultural anchor.
Yes, yeah, we've been fortunate with Theatre by the Bay. Again, in 2001, Larissa and Nick saying, "Hey, we should do theater and we should put a big tent down by the water and throw Shakespeare into it," and that was such a bold thing for Barrie back then. And so Theatre by the Bay has been around, as well as our other partners that we have out there. And we've been a bit of an institution as far as professional theatre. We're the only one of two, of course, in the Barrie area of professional theatre companies.
How competitive, I know maybe that's the wrong word, is it in terms of, attracting talent to cities like Barrie when there are other festivals and other events, that take place? And, in terms of, this is a debut, so I'm just curious how that goes about.
Yeah, it's interesting, to get the right talent. I mean, one thing you want to make sure you treat them amazing, like you have this elevated experience that the artists get to experience. And if they need help and they need collaboration, we're there to help with that. I think it's just the way you treat people. The way we've done this, it's kind of a hybrid Toronto Fringe Festival where there's no submission fee. So that's the difference for sure, that we didn't want anyone paying to submit for the festival. But we also wanted to make sure 100% of the ticket revenue goes to the artists and the productions themselves. So we really want to help provide that infrastructure and really make it easy for them to help fill the seats and put on some great plays in, of course, wonderful downtown Barrie at our 5 Points Theatre.
Now, with 25 years in 2026 for Theatre by the Bay, the changes to you've been active even before that, the arts community itself, how have you seen it grown in Barrie, and does it have to do, too, just with the growth of the city? Yeah,
I think, that has a hand in it. You get different people living here from all walks of life, and they want different things. It's like, we've been like any Ontario town or city, we're hockey. We love our hockey, but there's room for arts and culture. And that's really grown here in Barrie. There are so many wonderful organizations that have grown over the last 25 years, and some have come and gone, but the others have been resilient and reinvented like we are doing now. And it's great to see, I was born here in Barrie myself. So to see, these other groups come out and make sure that they're well represented, in every multicultural, side of things, but also just different audiences want different things. And so that's why for us at Theatre by the Bay, we don't work in a silo. We want to work with our other partners like Barrie Film Fest, and we want, Talk is Free, and all the others that we work, felt community players. These are all friends of ours. So, a rising tide floats all boats, as they say, Dan.
And of course, people want the variety, what they see on stage. And I remember asking the Barrie Film Festival, in terms of, what movies do you choose? So I'm just wondering, for the Canadian series, do they come to you? Do you go to them, or how do you find these, these performances?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. What we do is, put out a submission call, that goes across Canada, and then we also, if there's a couple, we're like, your work was really great. We really appreciated your work when we saw it at Fringe, or we saw it in Edmonton, or we saw it wherever we saw it, and then we say, hey, would be something that you'd be interested in. And so we got great response from that, and they were so excited to come up to Barrie. And a lot of people have a connection to Barrie. For us, I've lived here most of my life, but it's great to see all these folks from all over the place go, what, I have an uncle that lives in Barrie, or, so they're excited to spend the summer here with us.
And if people want more information about the Barrie Theatre Festival?
Yeah, you can go to theatrebythebay.com or also barrietheatres.ca.
Grief comes to us in many ways, and there are many ways we deal with it. Barrie author Kimber Gordon offering help through her novel Autumn Anderson and the Quest for Keys, one girl's journey following the death of her beloved grandmother. MJ from the Rock 95 morning crew tracked her down.
Is this one of your first novels that you've written?
Yeah, so this book is called Autumn Anderson and the Quest for Keys. So you want to think Harry Potter meets Neverending Story for those of us that were raised in the 80s up until current. And it's fantasy fiction. I'm a fiction author. And it was inspired as a grief series. So it's going to take people through the lessons in life journey through grief, and how grief starts and how it's first recognized through different perspectives. And I'm going to be making this into a 5-book series. So they're an easy read. They were beta tested for ages 8 and up, but I've done speaking engagements now with seniors who are enjoying it and loving it just as much, because it's now become part of legacy. And they're using it for teaching legacy, for teaching their kids about life and their grandchildren about life in conversations that they maybe couldn't have had the way that they wanted to. So the book has actually provided a little bit of education and understanding and compassion in a way that I had not expected for it to come through that way. I was just hoping to have had a story that was somewhat different and fun. I lost both my parents during the pandemic, like many people did, and it changed me profoundly. And I was like, what am I going to do with this? I had nobody really to turn to other than my family at the time, which is small, and people that I've come to call family in the community, as well as close friends. And I realized that a lot of us don't know how to talk about death. And, we're educated as we grow up on procreation, but we don't often talk about later in life and how to make our way through that until we start to experience tougher conversations with people that we love, because we fear losing them without realizing that we've had them all along, and that in some capacity they're still going to be with us even when they're gone, because we have access to our memories and we have access to all of the things that they provided us through life lessons. And so this book captivates that through the eyes of a grandmother who is an author who had dementia, who wrote 30 stories for her granddaughter and sends her on a quest to find the keys, which are also keys to life lessons and journeys, but they're USB keys that go inside of a bear that was made out of recycled clothing that was hers. And the bear itself is the delivery method for the stories in her own voice, as she was a teacher for her granddaughter who was homeschooled. And it's featured in Ireland, where part of my heritage is from. And I've been able to put a lot of different perspectives from people in my life, as well as my own education and upbringing into the storyline. So there's a lot of things that resonate with people at different levels of their own journey, so which made this book from something that I thought was going to be for, preteens, now a bigger audience. So, which has been awesome.
You made kind of a heavy topic into a light read, if that makes sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the book is not like an 800-page crazy thing. It's a very easily digestible book with a good message.
Yeah, and it's fun. I had a lot of fun writing it. And I have a lot of fun writing. So I'm always, people are like, are you researching? And I'm like, I actually jokingly said for a long time, I'm asking a question for research. And sometimes it really legitimately is, because I'm trying to put something together that I need for a character that I'm building or for something else down the road, and I might not use it right away, but I can come back and say, thank you for that. I really needed that conversation about whatever it was. Sometimes it's music, because I've actually connected music playlists to each of the books. So I've actually talked to a lot of people about music and how the words that are actually in the music reflect them, and their daily lives, and where do we come from our learning. A lot of it is through our music and through our books and through where our education comes from. So I also had to be responsible with what I was producing and what I am producing, and making sure that my research of the topics that I'm talking about is current, it is accurate, and people can actually go back to that and go, that's a really good resource for that. So it's become a lot bigger than just me writing a fictional story. It's becoming a whole platform for something bigger. I've got an app in the work as well. Working with a company in the States that's going to be developing something that will connect mental health alongside our grief processing in a way that's gentle and easy for people to have, so that they understand that, when our favorite store is, being rearranged and we're actually starting to experience feelings of loss, we're experiencing grief, and somebody beside us will undermine us and make us feel, little for saying, oh, well, that's just down aisle 6 instead of aisle 10. But if you're ADHD or OCD, or you have mental health issues and you're used to going into that store daily, and your aisle is now rearranged, you're starting to grieve change. And we don't recognize that's what these feelings are, and they are legitimate. And so in writing this book series, it's going to help people to discover what our feelings really are, and how they can move through them without feeling like they're not able to talk about them freely with other people. So everything from, how you feel when you lose your phone, which everybody has done. It's not the actual phone that you've lost. You're losing a part of your history. You're losing a part of yourself and your identity, because your pictures are gone, your music list is gone, your contacts are gone, your phone numbers are gone, and that's grief. And we don't recognize that as grief. We recognize that as, someone being lazy, or, we're placing blame on theft or something else. We don't really think about what we're feeling until much later when somebody passes on and we're experiencing those exact same things again. And we don't know how to handle them. And, we have to worry about the depression and, other things that follow depression with addictions and suicides and other things that we don't really think about because we haven't addressed the internal message of how we feel moving through life. So what's starting out as grief is also going to be something bigger in helping to educate people feel.
'Tis the season for charity hockey games. This one has been around for a while, the annual Mind to Muscle Cup in support of the Barrie Food Bank. Here again are Ian McLennan with organizer Rick Shaley and Aidan Dudas, who will be lacing up to help fight hunger.
Mind to Muscle Cup, how many years has this been going on?
So this is the 10th year. We're really excited about the 10th year being our biggest and best ever. So it started as a small game and continues to build every year. Our sponsorship's been great. This year we have Barrie Minor Hockey right behind us and supporting us. And it's such an important event because the Barrie Food Bank, their usage has doubled in the last 2 years, and it's up to 7,400 people per month is using the food bank. And so we wanted to do something that could give back, help our community, and make a difference locally. So everything that is raised financially goes right back into here in Barrie.
And we have some of the talent here with us, but who will be participating in this game? How's it set up?
Well, it's we're really fortunate in Barrie because we have so many talented hockey players, and so Mind to Muscle's been in business for 25 years, and one of our core niches is working with the hockey players, and so we've brought some of our top pros and NCAA players, CIS players to play in this game, and on occasion, we're lucky to have a couple NHL players as well, and it depends on injuries and training and whether they're back with their home teams every year, whether they're on the ice. But it's growing to be a significant event. Players want to play in the game. We have a nice crowd, but more importantly, we're giving back to the community. So we're, hockey can sometimes have a bad rap, but in my experience, hockey players want to give back and do some really, really good things in our community. And so you said who plays in it? Well, we're really honored to have Aidan Dudas, who's here with us today, who won a gold medal for Team Canada and was quite famous in flicking the puck and hitting the camera. Yeah. And so we have that level of talent on the ice, and it's a fast game. It's very, very impressive. And we have an NHL referee, Dan Marawali, out on the ice. Yep. 1,600 games in the NHL as well, and so it's a great event. But more importantly, it's free pizza, free popcorn. Charlie Horse comes, and it's a great event for the kids.
Yep, and the hockey players are charitable. They're noted for that. And Aidan, your participation in it, what brought you on board?
Yeah, well, I've been training with Mind to Muscle for the past few years now. I recently moved to Barrie for the summers, so it's given me the opportunity to train with them, and obviously I love it there. There's a great group of guys and great trainers. So obviously what we can do to give back to the community here with this game is what we want to do, and we feel like it's the right thing to do.
Now, if memory serves, you were drafted by the Kings, and you told me off air you are going to be returning to Finland. So a bit about that.
Yeah. So I grew up in Parry Sound, and then when I was 13, I moved and played North Central Predators, and then from there I was drafted to the Owen Sound Attack in the OHL, and I spent 4 years there. And during those 4 years, I was drafted to the Los Angeles Kings and spent 3 years there with their American League affiliate team. And then for the past few years, I've been over in Europe in Finland, and I got to head back to Finland in the next couple of weeks for the start of the next season. And
what's the atmosphere there, or the league you play in, compared to NHL? And it's obviously a hockey mad country too.
Yeah, honestly, over in Europe, it's a lot different. The fans are pretty rowdy. It's pretty loud in there. It's not quite the fans that the NHL get with just the money that the NHL has. The rinks are a lot bigger, and they can fill out the crowd pretty well. But it's great fun, good fans. It's loud and really good hockey.
The cat was let a bit out of the bag there about the goal. Tell us about that incident there too.
Yeah, it was. I was in the final game against Russia. Final couple minutes, we were on the penalty kill, and I was on the ice, and we were up by 1 at this point, and I tried to ice the puck down the ice and went over the glass and hit a camera, and there was obviously some talk with the referees if that should be a penalty or not, and I guess the IIHF rules state that the camera's part of the glass, so it ended up not being a penalty, which was good for us because it would have been probably a 6-on-3 for the last 2 minutes of the game, which could have
We've been having
changed.
a total different conversation here.
Yeah.
Haven't we?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're giving back like this, is it how important is it to you as just as a person and a hockey player too? Like,
Yeah, I think first off, as a person, if you have the means to give back to the community that help raise you and whatever it may be, I think it's just something that you should do. And as hockey players, we're lucky enough to make a decent living, and I think it's just right for us and for people that can and are willing to give back to the community to do so.
And that's our program for this week. Thanks to Ian and MJ for their input, to Matt Latter for his technical expertise, and to you for listening. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe to What Barrie's Talking About, rate it, review it. You can also keep up with What Barrie's Talking About on Blue Sky and X at Barrie 360, on our website, barrie360.com, and there's our daily Kickstart podcast, available from any streaming service and on our website. I'm Dan Blakely. Hope you'll join us again next week.